That's the number one reason why it matters. But everybody that's powerful deal with people from other races without conflict, at least without open conflict. Most of their conflict be posturing and gestures. They don't fight. You're not finna see, well, you might see Ibrahim Traore punch one of them in the mouth, but it ain't too many of those world leaders gonna do something. But my boy might get down with one of them if he feeling that way, because he tired. He the same kind of tired I am, right? I slap all of them. But the whole problem being is when you get to a certain level, whether it's the economic level, the social influence level, what they call political influence, is really social influence. Politicians is just them decoy ducks. As long as you see politicians, you won't see the real power. You got to get rid of the politicians to see the power players got to step out front when you get rid of the politicians. As long as you got politicians, the real power players are shielded. They in office buildings and lodges in DC, in New Jersey, and in New York. Now they got a couple more lodges. They got one in LA and they got one in New Orleans. Then that one could be, the people down there so hard on them, they can't even operate the same way as the ones in DC, Philly, New York, and New Jersey. The ones coming out of them lodges is the ones telling your politicians what to do. The ones coming out that lodge in California, that's who telling your handlers of celebrities, telling to shut up. Right? Them the ones that put the hit on Michael Jackson. Them the ones that put the hit on Tupac Shakur. Them ones in that lodge out there. Right? If I was to go to one of them and show you where the lodge at, it'd cause so many problems. And for me, personally, I could just sit here and tell you where to look for them. Instead of going out there where they had boots on the ground, creating the problem, because they gonna laugh when they hear me telling y'all. It's funny to them that I'm telling y'all where they lodge is at. The original Dirty Players Fez's is in the George Washington Masonic Memorial. So if you want to know who the original Dirty Moors was, they Fez is right there with their names on it. Right? They laugh because they say them people ain't gonna believe what he's talking about. Some of them gonna look. And then they gonna find receipts to the receipts to get more fine-tuned, because the more eyes you got on the problem, the more potential you have to solve it.
Right. I want to talk to you about, you done mentioned several times, you referenced boots on the ground. And for those who don't know, it's a new dance movement that's going, I don't know if I'm describing it the right way. You know, we had like the electric slide. There's a song, Boots on the Ground, and they be like, where them fans at? It's like a cowboy, or like a black cowboy song, right, Rod?
Yeah.
And it's real fly. And people on
Mississippian culture.
Yeah, and people on social media, Rod, they put up a post and they're like, while the world is falling apart, and they show all these images of the world falling apart, they're like, this is what black people doing. And they're like boots on the ground, and they got the fans, and and they're having a good time. And Rod, I've talked to several people, including Sharif Bey, and we talked about how song and dance is our one of our highest technologies that we have. But at the same time, they say black people are into party and bullshit too much, which is, I guess, the negative polarity of song and dance. So talk to me about, if we're talking about entering an altered state, what is it about black people? And I heard Bobby Hemmett say this. Shout out to Kenyatta. He works with Dame. He used to work with Dame Dash. He posted a video clip of Bobby with Bobby saying how dance used to heal us. And there was a conspiracy to eliminate dance within music because dance we used to killing us, bro.
Under the black codes, this is what gave rise to what we call the hole in the wall in the juke joint. We wasn't allowed to have places where we congregated and danced. That was against the law.
Damn.
It was literally illegal under this system, this emerging system of Americanism, for us to sing and dance. Our singing and our dancing, when we see certain people come, our singing and dancing increase because they know victory is close. But when other people come, our singing and dancing, like for instance, remember I was telling you about the Crip Walk for a long time, then you seen the effect of it. The energy shift from Cali now, that's called, it's like playing tennis. They returning to serve. The line dancers, the Midwest going into the South, right? And then they mingling it with the Southern New Orleans cultural movement to come up with this boots on the ground movement. This is us showing our solidarity and our love for one another in the face of the enemy in a manner that he know we showing it, and now he can't do nothing about it. Right? Now we don't need crooked man walking on the land. We don't need the lightning bolt. We don't need, because they ready. Now we need to see, is the love gonna come? Are we gonna really, really make it happen? Is the boots on the ground, are we gonna really kick the shit into the fan? It's coming. It's coming. Because you got to remember, all of this music in America come from Mississippian culture. It all traced back to what we call the Delta Blues, to the Mississippi Delta. And it was the love songs of the man that was learning his woman, and he was identifying his mistakes, and he was telling you how to correct them. But then they stopped us from listening to the music. They villainized the ragtime because they was trying to force, right, I don't know what it is, but after about a couple weeks, it's going to click to it and it's going to be over with. They said keep us away from it, especially the ones that they call church mothers. The ones that's the church mother, the most powerful sisters in the community. And we thinking that because they in the church, that they from the Jesus story. They ain't from the Jesus story. They from the tribes of the land, and they still carrying out the same function they did in the long house, in the big house, and in the short house. They still doing tribal mother stuff. They just doing it under the color of Christianity now. But you thinking it's Christianity because they doing it, but they ain't doing it where the church came from. The church mothers don't run nothing in Europe. They halfway don't want a woman sitting on the podium in Europe. Male, chauvinistic, pedophile priest cult. Did I leave out homosexual? That's what they is. They don't like women. That's why they keep marrying drag queens. Like Barbara Bush named Big Buddy. Big linebacker.
Let me I'm gonna get to about 2 questions from the family before we get out of here, because I can't be on here too long tonight. Somebody asked, somebody sent the super chat. They asked, oh, by the way, because I see somebody posted your Cash App. Let me throw rods, because I don't want y'all to follow anybody else's Cash App and it be the wrong one. All right, I just put, be careful donating to other Cash Apps, family. You know, I don't want y'all to donate to the wrong one. But Rod Hayes Cash App, we got 3,200 people in the digital building, so make sure you support this brother for the information that he gave us tonight. His Cash App is $SikApe. That's capital SIK, capital APE. Once again, make sure the spelling is right, family. We don't want this going to the wrong Cash App. Somebody said, what is your Cash App, Rich? I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen. It's the same name as the channel. $Black Magic 363. Same name as the channel. Same thing. Make sure you support Rod Hayes. Very, very important that when we have individuals like this, that we show the individuals love. And like I said, I just don't want to go into the wrong person. So yeah, we don't want that. But listen, let me get a couple of question questions from the fam. Somebody with the super chat said, were Moors later called Indians?
In the war, the MUUR Moors is the tribal Moors. The MOOR are the European Moors. But the catch term MOOR included both of them when it became the Conjure War. The Conjure War was the death of Crispus Attucks in the Civil War. First blood in the war is one of the chiefs, because you had to establish clear boundaries as who's the attacker and who's the defender. And Crispus Attucks' blood was used to write the corporate constitution, what we call the secondary constitution, that moved the capital from Philadelphia to DC under the corporate jurisdiction in a litigation that one of them European nations said we crashed into their ship. So that kept us in litigation, but the litigation was being fought as a war because they was trying to impose they admiralty jurisdiction on the land, and eventually was successful because it wasn't enough of us that was willing to educate ourselves. We was content being befuddling idiots.
Okay. Let's get to another.
Oh, one more part to that. So if you're talking to Moors and you want them to talk about the tribes, they call the righteous Moors. The invaders is called dirty Moors.
Right.
And this is why I say when Angel Bay got locked up, I knew that the dirty Moors was behind it, because he's the law and he's the main one that they want to keep in prison and under the war protocol, because he can call the tribes to war with his oratory. So they want to silence him as much as possible. Right. Larry Hoover, even though he was Main 21 ambassador to Stone, became a king with King David. And they was also discussing why he didn't want to be tied in with the Peace Stones, who were Moors, but they was righteous Moors, because the symbols, all of their stone symbolism and they stone codes tell me they tribe. That's a tribe. That's the same red tribe out of the Midwest, old Mississippian. Then when you do the history on Jeff, you find out that he came from Mississippi, just like Larry Hoover, just like King David. And I'm a Mississippian too. My parents has come from directly from Mississippi, and my mama birthed me on the west side of Chicago. They knew I was coming, so they left me messages in hieroglyphics, what we call it graffiti today. But the graffiti, when I walk down the streets of Chicago and read the graffiti, I'm getting messages from Latin kings, Latin counts, Satin disciples, gangster disciples, black gangster disciples, black gangsters, peace stones, Titanic stones, cobra stones, vice lords, four corner hustlers, insane, unknowns, travelers. They all telling me the same story. They infiltrating us. They pretending to be us, acting like somebody else the problem, and they making us fight each other. It's in the codes, in the hieroglyphics, or in the graffiti. It's on the walls, on the garages, on the bricks in the tunnels, on the side of the trains. In New York, it's the same message. It's the same message in the hieroglyphics. They don't know they doing it because it's in the blood. It ain't in the mind. It's a natural expression of the self. All you got to do is be authentic, and it's going to come out, and you're going to tell me where to look, and I'm going to know where to look.
Shit, y'all. Wow. This dude got the Holy Ghost in him tonight, y'all. This dude got the Holy Ghost. Somebody shout out to another super chat. Somebody said, where is the missing Indian gold under the Twin Towers?
The Bushes had took that and disseminated across Europe. The gold is all being returned, but they're not taking it to Fort Knox right now. They're taking it to an underground base in Colorado.
Why there?
Because it's secure enough, and also the continuity government is in Raven Rock, Colorado, that's watching all of this play out so that they can make sure we get everything back. When you read the continuity of government FEMA document, it tell you right on the cover that its tribal government is involved. The 9 treaty tribes We don't got treaties with these people. We not the ones signing treaties with them. The ones that signed treaty got a paper trail to get their stuff back. But we was erased in a paper genocide by burning up our birth records, by burning up our family books, because we had family books that had everybody's name in it. And our big mama used to keep them in her house, and she called it the Book of Life. So that's why they say everybody whose name is written in the Book of Life. But there's a master book written in the ethers. You can't take that book away, but you can burn the physical representation.
Right.
It's just the book, but you can't take it out the ethers. And the ethers is where you get the genetic code for the chiefs to come in and answer for their parishioners, they braves calling for them. They call for us. I need your help, brother. Come help me. They conjure my ass up, Rich. I wasn't supposed to be here. I'm the chief of last resort. They don't supposed to call me until can't nobody figure it out. I see a whole bunch of people that had it almost figured out until they got murdered.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to let's get to let me see. Hold up now, Rob.
While you doing that, this is for the crowd. If y'all watching, anybody know how to get in touch with legendary Top Cats, tell them to holler at the chief. I need to holler at him. We're trying to get him to do some record keeping folks.
Indeed.
Or read some records for us.
Indeed. Yeah. Holler at Top Cats. I'm trying to get in touch with the brother as well. Definitely holler at the brother. Somebody says Synagogue is mixed with Africans. What's your thoughts on that statement?
They probably is now, because a lot of Africans in the last couple hundred years then moved to New York. They got to marry somebody.
But not from that time, not hundreds of years ago, you saying?
No, the Synagogue is an ancient tribe. It's always been there. The New York area was always been their stronghold, their territory.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They wasn't always called Synagogue, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, somebody said Top Cats mentioned you last night. Okay, yeah. Holla at the brother. And shout out to King Simon in the building as well. Shout out to King Simon. Somebody said, what is the origin of the Moore last name? Moore.
That was given to different people who were swarthy in complexion or dark complected with kinky hair. It was a generalized term like freedman. And you got people with the last name Freeman now. That means that they didn't never go into the POW camps that they call today plantations to confuse us. But the name Moore, Moor, it's also the same as the name Moore, Moore. It's also Maury, Mauri. All of those are the term that they gave to the darker people that went into the conflict. All of the black term is a chess term for the defender. And it was specifically referring to the Black Eagle clan, the Black Bear clan, the Black Wolf clan, the Black Deer clan. Those priests is governed under the onyx stone, and a physical responsibility in human form is to do whatever they can to serve as protection for the rest of the tribes. So then that put us in the position where we have to come out of being regular civilians, and now they call in the priest that has a unique set of skills. Some of them you might want, if you want a singing chief or whatever, but he's obscure. So they'll end up getting famous later in life. Like when we needed Robin Cook to come along and tell the Bebe Kids story. Mm-hmm. Because Bebe was one of the nicknames for Big Mama. So when he's saying Bebe Kids, we don't die, we multiply, we thinking he talking about one of these chicks in the hood that got 12 babies by 17 different baby daddies. Mm-hmm. That ain't what he talking about. He talking about Big Mama. Bebe is a nickname for Big Mama. And she got that from Big Papa. And he also, that term we use today when we referring to our significant other as Bae, that's old. That's old. And that's where you get L's versus Bays. Bay is a Ottoman title of rank. And under a Bay, I think it's like 10 days. Well, 10 DEYs. And today you would call them deacons. Right? But a deacon is a zodiac representation for a house in the zodiac. So you were supposed to be 10 deacons or 10 days under a Bay, and the Bay is a provincial leader. And over the Bays, it's another group called Ali. Ali is the highest rank because when you go from Ali, you become emperor next. You become emperor over a group of Alis. But all that's Ottoman Turkish, which was also established by the same people. When they went through Africa, they got ran clean across the land. That story told by Elijah Muhammad. Everywhere they go, they cause mischief and bloodshed. They cause conflict between two peaceful people. And then they offer them a solution. And I add to that for a fee, because they always going to make sure they put a fee on everything they do. And that's why I don't charge for nothing. If I was a mechanic right now changing the motor, I'd do it for free. Give me what you think you want, what you want to pay. Because it ain't about that. Because everything, money ain't everything. Morals and values, principles, a guy to stand on what he believes in is more valuable to me than and damn you got. I'd rather give up all my money to have one loyal person than to be rich and miserable with no loyalty around me.
It's a miserable life to be around a bunch of people with
Gimme. Everybody supposed to be wealthy over here. When they came over here, there was no poverty. There was no prisons. We follow a certain set standard under the matriarchal order that maintained peace. Nobody had to steal from nobody because everybody was willing to give you anything. All you got to do is ask. And that's where that term, closed mouth don't get fed. Baby, I ain't know you was hungry because you ain't said you was hungry. That come from Big Mama house. And them smart ass aunties. In Big Mama house, always got a bunch of aunties in there because sometimes they husband die off and they move back with Big Mama. And say, no, if I can't have the love of my life, I'd rather be here with my mama. So now you got Big Mama, she got 6, 7 daughters, and they got 6, 7 daughters apiece. And now they all got daughters living in the house with Big Mama, helping Big Mama cook. That's why they don't even have to be from the same family. But if they all in the kitchen, in Big Mama kitchen, they be moving like ballet in the kitchen. Look, Rich, my mama was in the living room laying on her deathbed. She was in a coma state in hospice. And I'm watching these sisters that just met because of my mama. They all love my mama. And they was in there and they was passing stuff where nobody wasn't asking for nothing. How do you know she need the salt? How did you know she wanted an onion out the refrigerator? And they just reach back, boom, somebody passing them something. And ain't nobody talking. They all talking about whatever the main events of the day was. They wasn't even talking about cooking. But when they got done cooking, everything tasted like my mama made it. My mama was one of the coldest cooks we ever seen.
I can tell you love your mama, Rod. I can tell you love
people
your
would
mama.
drive to Chicago if they heard my mama was going to cook a pot of greens.
Yeah.
They drive from Chicago.
Shit.
They drive for an hour away. Detroit, Grand Rapids, all over Michigan. People hear my mama cooking. They coming.
Yeah, man. Oh man, I love this type of talk, y'all. This that soul talk. This is no other word to describe what we had tonight, but straight soul vibrations, family. And this is what it's all about. Let me squeeze in A couple of more. Let me get King Simon. King Simon says, "Hey Rod, isn't the Caribbean a part of the Americas?"
100%. 100%.
King
All of the
Simon,
islands, we would look.
he's hailing from Jamaica. King Simon, he's hailing from Jamaica.
Yeah. So the Big Mama in New Orleans was, or the Big Mama in Gullah Geechee territory, because the Big Mama they was like co-Big Mamas. If one of them died, then the other one got all of the power to the next one is replaced by her blood heir that's responsible. And when she get competent, then the power is distributed on both sides of the Mississippi equally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And from New Orleans was our port. It's where we did all of our trade with the islands. And the Big Mama up here would send stuff to what became known as Hispaniola, to Cuba, to Jamaica, to St. Croix, all of those islands in Central America. They call them Caribbean islands. They would send delegations with stuff that we grow up here that our Big Mama knew they needed down there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And she would send it to her free. But the side effect is reciprocity. They Big Mama not gonna take nothing for free. So she gonna send her back bananas, or not bananas because they didn't get over here till later on, but like dates, avocados, and mangoes, and the fruit, jackfruit, and probably some jackfish. All of the stuff that they get down there, she send her back a big bundle. Come back here, right? And then when the invaders came, they interrupt first our trade with ourselves to break our unity. When we couldn't trade with each other, we can't communicate because we can't get across the water without fighting. You got Huguenots and conquistadors patrolling the water, and the Mississippi was the mainland's navy. What you call the Navy today is it's the continuation of the Mississippi riverboat patrols. They used to patrol the rivers, but they only had a couple of boats that used to go to the islands. And so when they run into the Spanish Armada and the Huguenots on the ocean, right? And they got cannons. We wasn't at war. So we ain't had no cannons. So they try to sink the ship. This is where the term "sink my battleship" come from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Indeed. All right, we're gonna do one last question, then we're gonna get out of here. One last question. Where's that question at? How did we build these beautiful Tartarian buildings, and why was there a mud flood reset? Was it to hide free energy?
No. The reset, anytime you have a mass reset, it was a side effect of war. The different cities that were recently flooded is not the ancient sediment of the what you call in Tartarian, is actually anything west of Rome. And it comes from the name of Tartarus, which is Antarctica, before the ice. So when you talking Tartarian, you really talking Atlantean, but they trying to confuse you about what you talking about. The Earth was an Atlantean civilization. The capital was the Atlant, which was the Americas, which was where the Temple of Isis and the Temple of Tahuti in the Grand Canyon, that used to be the capital. And the island, which was a landmass, it was a continent that became Antarctica after it froze, which I ain't gonna get into that right now because that's a whole nother story. But Tartarus was then covered with ice, but it was a desert, right? So when you read about Tartarus, they're talking about Tartarus is southwest extreme of Rome. So they people confusing y'all, giving it all these other names like Hyperborea, Tartaria, Lemuria. Lemuria is a region under the Atlantean civilization. which was a global civilization, a one world order before we were split up for warfare after the Anunnaki Wars or the Vimanis Wars, when America was sent into a nuclear winter after a nuclear holocaust. That's why we know we don't want to do it again.
Man, y'all asked, he delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate y'all for coming out tonight. Damn, we got a packed house. We got 3,500 people. Make sure y'all support the brother Rod Hayes. I think you said you taking a break, right, Rod? Are you
Yeah, I need to take a break, man. I'm burnt out right now.
What a way to close out before you take a break, Rod. What a way to close out. With that being said, man, I want to thank you once again, brother, for coming on the show. Definitely, I'm gonna send you that non-ether joint, so you're gonna really enjoy that. I'm gonna send you that. Email you. What's your email?
I don't use it, but I'll tell you. I'll send it to you in the text because I don't use it. But I can't manage all of the stuff I manage and be as effective as I need to be. So I have to restrict what I manage. That's why I keep everything to Facebook, Instagram, and then I do guest appearances on YouTube shows.
Indeed, yeah, because
time management is critical, baby. If you don't know what you're doing, you overwork yourself, especially trying to do what I'm doing.
Very, very important. Time management, very important. All right, family. With that being said, I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Ani Asaru will be on tomorrow, and he's doing a show on the physics of candle magic. It's gonna be an awesome show. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow night. The physics of candle magic. With
something's in one of the studies that you gave me a long time ago on the bloody oath.
The most violent bloody oath of the papacy.
Right. I came back across that and studied the Tupac file. It's the Tupac in the Tupac's FBI file. I came back across that bloody oath, and I was like, dang. And then a whole bunch of other stuff, which is going to come out tonight, right after this tape. It's going to premiere after this tape. It's called Tupac Shakur Reclaims His Throne of the Inca Empire. Because them people, his people are direct descendants of those people down in Mexico. They got ran out of there during the Spanish Wars. This shit is deep. And that's
the part most people don't know, Elder, about what you just said is most of them didn't get ran out. They still there.
Yeah, that's right. I got pictures.
They call them Afro-Mexicans now.
That's right. That's right, Rod. I got pictures of them. They black. And some of them blacker than me. Some of them, and they got these big. They wear these big hoop earrings. In some of their traditions, they wear big earrings and they loop earrings in their ear. In some of their traditions down there, and some of them look just like Tupac. When you go down there and look at the real people, some of them got the features of Tupac and his family, like that. His mama and them and all of them, right? And so that brings my first question about the bloody oath. Now, they said in the bloody oath, I just read it, the Jesuits, they said that they were going to come after the kings and the prince. They made an oath. Why would they make an oath to take out the kings and the princes on the land? Why would they make this oath? Go ahead.
It's the same as COINTELPRO. The COINTEL mission statement is just a watered down version of that violent bloody oath, where it don't talk about murdering and killing the people of the land, killing the princes and the kings. But the philosophy is if the rightful heirs never come to power, then they can never reclaim their rightful birthright. Right? You can't claim your birthright if you a bond servant. Or else, this is why they locked Malachi up. Malachi was almost to the gate where he can serve eviction notice on. They knew this when he wrote the Constitution for the United Nubian Nation of Moors. When he wrote that Constitution, he became an immediate threat to the national security of the invading forces of the United States corporate entity. Elijah Muhammad was a threat the whole time, but the FOI was so well trained that they couldn't really get to him like they wanted to. His name, Malcolm name, and Martin name is in the mission statement of COINTELPRO, right? But it's chiefs all over the land. And you know the real chiefs from the land because they always got to consult their tribal mother before they start making arbitrary decisions that's going to affect the whole clan. Mama say stand down, they not going to address that issue right now. Mama say full throttle, put the pedal to the metal. They coming. They don't care how many y'all it is. They standing alone. They gonna come and speak up because Mama said knock you out. So I'm gonna knock you out. And shout out LL Cool J.
Hey, Mama said knock you out. Big Mama said knock him out, man. Big Mama said knock you out. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, that's right. And this brings my next question. Now, as I was going through the Tupac files and putting this tape together that I just put together, I found, and you said this before, but I said, damn, all this shit Rod told me. The JDL. The JDL come back up as starting Tupac and Eazy and several other black artists. Now, what is the connection in response to the JDL wanting to start Tupac and Eazy-E and Biggie and all these guys? What's up with that? And then
it wasn't just the artists that look like us. They was extorting pale faces too. Pale face call them star whackers. They don't call them JDL. The FBI call them JDL because the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, is the political branch, and the JDL is the military branch. They all was started by black Jews, but they put the pale face convert out there like they the ones running. They not running nothing. And if you look at the guy that started, you could clearly see he's a mulatto.
Yeah. Yep.
Upstate mulatto.
Look, I made all the connections with the hip. The JDL really is the hip hop police that up in New York. They connected with the hip hop police upstate, the upstate gated community. It's all tied back into what you said with the JDL. And I said, dang, man, Roy said all this, which brings my next question. So the JDL after Tupac. Now, what was the JDL aim? Why was they like go into why was they wanting to start him instead of was they out to stop him from doing what he was doing and being powerful? And because he would, I see in the FBI files that they didn't like that he was funding black organizations like black militant groups that they had on their list, like the Black Panthers, etc. Go ahead.
You ever wonder why the preachers don't do nothing for the community? The imams don't do nothing for the community. The black Hebrew Israelite rabbis, they don't do nothing. All they do something is for their immediate crew, just their little group. Because those are the ones under contract. The ones that don't got no contract, they can't stop us from helping each other because that's how we naturally gonna help each other. The ones under contract, like a lot of your major athletes, has what they call a no political involvement clause, or you end up like number 7 taking a knee. Right? All us over here, when we see Colin Kaepernick take that knee, he got that afro out, we know who he talking to. He did in football before taking the knee was a political protest to the community at large. They used to take a knee to remember something as a memorial, or they used to take a knee like if they want to surrender a play. But when they start using it for political protests, they start violating their contracts. Because no athlete is supposed to be involved in any political financing of anything. We're going to give you all this money, but if we catch you supporting Minister Farrakhan, or if we catch you supporting Nathan and Julia Hare, if we catch you supporting Dr. Bobby Hemmett, if we catch you supporting Dr. Amos Wilson, if we catch you supporting Dr. Neely Fuller, if we catch you supporting any of the ones that's trying to really make a significant change, you're going to lose your contract. And you don't believe me, you could ask Craig Hodges, because he was one of the first ones they made an example of in the NBA for taking on causes. He wore dashiki to the White House. They said, that's a no-no, buddy. You'll never play in the NBA again. See, everybody think that dashiki is an African origin. It's a Southwest U.S. origin.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the same thing as the modern Mexicans. They still wear them. They've been wearing them for thousands of years over there in Mexico.
I got a video on it. I got a video on the dude breaking down some of the Egyptian world that it's already in South America, and I'm gonna do a video on it. But this brings my next question, Rod. Now we know that people reincarnate and significant reincarnates. Like we have reason to believe that Emmett Till tried to make a separate attempt to come back and blow the horn as a little boy named Tamir Rice, who was later took out again by the Manchurian candidate, right? So and on the studying that the secret societies, especially the guys that's trying to operate against us, they are using birth astrology charts to log our birth to find out when we come back. So my question for you is why are they using this against us, then now telling us we can't use it in this witchcraft and all this, but then they use it to log our birth so they can kill us or take us out or mess with us? Go ahead.
And it's not just to log our birth. We come back and we inherit. Beef is inherited. We don't be saying that and we just talking. We say beef is inherited. Like I'm Chief Pontiac, but I'm an old Mississippian. Because of my blood right and the ranking of the bloodline, when I moved into Michigan, when I become mature, I'm going to be responsible to settle the conflict between Chief Pontiac and the French in the Louisiana Purchase. We thought it was settled, but it never was settled. It was just transferred to the English, which takes us to the corporation. Right? They sold the protectorate right. They didn't sell colonizer right. They didn't sell mineral right. They sold protectorate right. Under the protectorate right, all of the tribes under Louisiana territory was supposed to remain autonomous to the corporation that was never supposed to cross the Appalachians. And we all knew this. The King of England knew it because he told them don't cross the Appalachians. They did it anyway. Right? Because they felt like they could expand the empire. We think the New World Order is coming up. We've been in the New World Order since 1492 when they labeled America the New World. When they called it the New World, now they had to establish the order out of the chaos. The chaos was an ongoing warfare. The warfare in 1776 changed. It's no longer a bullet and bombs. It is sorcery and conjure. It's whose magician is better, my magician or yours. Moses and the staff. He threw his staff down and it consumed the serpents of the other two magicians whose staff had turned into serpents. And that showed the superior magic. This is what we're dealing with. That was really a two-ball cane, which was three canes set up as the three pillars in the temple of Hiram Abiff. That's because he only got 3 X chromosomes. But if you go to the shrine of the Black Madonna, she has 4 pillars. That's because she got 4 X chromosomes, right? So when we're looking at conflict, the sun, the Hiram Abiff, the raised one, the master of masters, the self-raised master, you're going to know because he's going to say, I'm God enough to tell you that the woman was God first. And they ain't going to feel no type of way about telling you. But the male chauvinist, Catholic indoctrinated, Christian influenced will be adamantly against the fact that God is a woman because it goes against a patriarchal, male, chauvinistic, homosexual, pedophile, priest cult doctrine. That's who they is.
Yep. And that brings me to the next question, Rod, that you go to that part. Now, I noticed in some of the files, they go out to certain guys to try to get them to commit this abomination so they can open their root chakra, going back to the Enlil thing and Tahuti saying that you unfit the rule, calling somebody seeming. Could you break that down, the unfit rule to part and turning somebody's root chakra and why they put Quincy Jones on Tupac to try to get him to steal his rulership? Really, that was bigger than what we think. Go ahead, could you go in on that?
Right, because once you rupture the root chakra, you're not fit to rule. Because when all of your senses come online, you're going to exhibit all of the traits of a paranoid schizophrenic that's hearing voices that you can't make out what they is or where they coming from, and their doctor's going to dope you up, put you on medication, and tell you you're insane.
it was two sides to that too. You just explained both sides in one conglomerate. They said that the other side was he unfit based on he not mentally stable. So based on your root chakra being turned out and your manhood being taken, that pretty much sends you into a psychological. It's a psychological thing. That's what it was for them to. That's why they kept
okay.
on
So when your chakras activate, right, the top pulls from the bottom pulls from the top. As above, so below. If there's damage to the root chakra, when it tries to pull from above, it's inverted. Now it's it's spinning in the circle at the base. So now when your crown chakra try to wake you up, when you hit every chakra, the light is always fragmented out of position. You can't line up the chakras because the root chakra is damaged. And that's the one that's in charge of your sexuality, your creativity, your war mode, all that stuff. When your energy have to hit the root chakra and come back up to the crown. When it don't make it back up to the crown, you can't be the king. Period.
Hey, that makes sense. That make a lot of sense. That make a lot of sense. So that brings my next question. Now, these guys, these elites and the secret societies, I noticed that they follow a certain code of honor, and that they don't want like say they wouldn't come at you personally to take you down. They want your own people. They want what's the girl name? The girl that's always try to come after you. I ain't heard nothing from her in a while since you came out with the Diddy thing. But you know, they send people like that. They want your own people. Why do they need your own people to take you down? Like they had docs. They had to have Doc's own people to take them down. They had to have Noble.
No, they don't have to.
Go ahead.
They can outright murder you themselves, right? Like if you go look up Michael Jackson, extortion, the guy that they went to prison for, he went to prison. They caught him. He wasn't no pale face, right? They don't have to, but they will use whoever weakest. Fredo. They looking for Fredo in the family. I'm smart, Mikey. I can make decisions. I can run stuff too, Mikey. I ain't no dummy. Right? He want to prove himself at the expense of his brother because he can't see the game being played on him. When they use the ones closest to us because we don't see the game being played on us most of the time. Sometimes they just offer them a fat check. And that'd be enough because poverty will make people do stuff that they wouldn't do if they was wealthy. But wealth will make people do stuff that they wouldn't do if they was impoverished. So it's a double-edged sword, right? The middle class is the median between the two. The middle class is so comfortable that you can't make them poor again. But they ain't quite as wealthy as the rich, so they controllable because they don't have enough money to push the middle class influence into the lower class. This is the basis of all of the warfare was to wrestle the wealth from the people. It had no other purpose, right? So whilst